Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm Bob Pompeani, and #1 topic, and you can book it, is going to be Pittsburgh Steelers. What happened today? Looking ahead to the Browns, who also lost today. That's what we're going to delve into, although later we are going to talk baseball and sunflower seeds. That's coming up later in the broadcast. Here's your panel tonight to discuss everything that happened today at Acrisure Stadium. Jeff Hathhorn from 93.7 The Fan. To the far left in the middle is Mark Kaboly, Athletic, and to his left, Will Graves from the Associated Press. And gents, we have a lot to get into, so let's not waste any time. Play calling. That was a big topic today, and the Steelers looked like they totally ignored. In fact, we counted 3 passes only to the middle of the field. That was it, Jeff. I'm stunned because it keeps on happening. Is it Matt Canada's offense, and is it Mike Tomlin telling them to be a little bit protective and, don't turn the ball over, or is it Mitch Trubisky just not executing? Which of these is it?
Well, we heard a lot post-game. The one high safety theory was there that they couldn't throw it over the middle of the field because the one high safety. Then it was like, well, there were some other reasons, but Trubisky says he has freedom to throw it wherever he wants. It seems pretty clear that they're not running a lot of routes downfield. And when you look at what this offense did last year, that would be very in tune of what the Steelers' version of the Matt Canada offense is, which is throw it short.
I mean, last year the problem was the offensive line, right? Ben has to throw it short because the offensive line can't protect him and he doesn't have the arm, right? I mean, that was the excuse last year. Well, what's changed? The line has changed. The quarterback has changed. The results have not changed. I'm more willing to think that it's probably the coordinator. But, I mean, look, we were talking about this before we got on. There are not guys running 10 yards open downfield either. There are not. And the fact that, and I saw this 3 or 4 times today, where you got 6'4" Chase Claypool on a 5'9" DB in the slot. He's running 5-yard hooks and 4-yard outs instead of trying to get down the field. So, I mean, the concepts are not great. And Mitch even said it post-game. He said, call concepts that get guys in those positions. I think, look, we can blame Canada on this one.
You have to try. I mean, if you saw in that game, Bob, those safeties just kept walking up, and that creates problems.
They know
with
what's
Najee
coming,
Harris,
right?
And he's not going to have any room. So you're going to have to try, and I truly do believe that it has to do with not trusting Mitch Trubisky quite yet. That's the only thing I can think of, guys, because if you think about it, you have to trust him to go down the field a little bit here so he can open up some of the plays. And I don't think they want to do that yet. I think they want to bring him along slowly, And we saw after the game.
But you're describing Kenny Pickett right there. This is a 6-year veteran who they brought in.
And they're getting frustrated. They're getting frustrated
Yes,
through 2 games already where they're like, what are we doing here? We're only throwing the ball 4 or 5 yards. We can't run the ball. Our #1 safety was out. Kyle Duggar was out. And we're still not. We're trying to say something about a one-man high safety. I mean, trust me, in that first half, they had that deep high safety on the field a lot, which means they could have thrown if they wanted to. They chose not to. And I think that's the coaching of trying to protect Trubisky right now.
Well, didn't we hear all offseason, all during training camp? The offense can't make mistakes. They can't make mistakes. Our defense is really good if the offense doesn't lose the game. And it almost feels like the offense is trying not to lose the game instead of going out and trying to win the game.
It was 1 hour and 58 minutes if you wanted to know how long the honeymoon for Mitch Trubisky was. Applauded, ovation. When he introed, ovation, starting quarterback Mitch Trubisky. At 2:58 is when the Kenny chant started. I don't think Kenny would be any better. I think Mitch is skittish. I think you see him throwing off his back foot a lot. But when he steps and throws, the touchdown to Freiermuth, that 2-point conversion to Deontay Johnson, we're talking about tight windows. I mean, that was a great catch by Deontay, but literally, I mean, the ball had this much room.
Tough throw to make, right.
So, but how do you get him in position to throw with confidence? And I don't know how. I really don't know if it's the line, if it's the calls, or if it's Mitch worried about getting benched.
Mitch said after the game, after the win against Cincinnati, they needed a more aggressive mindset. What does that tell you?
I think the Mitch being benched is something you can't gloss over. The reason why he won this job is because he took care of the ball and they trusted him the most with the ball. And he's thinking, the way I got this job is by doing this. I better stick with the way I got this job. If not, I'm on the bench here. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the
you
theory.
can't operate in the NFL with that mindset.
I mean, he should look at it like he has nothing to lose. He knows he's not the long-term solution here. He should be playing for his next job. Right? So, I mean, why not just cut it loose? So if I'm him, especially, and I know we'll talk about the Browns in a minute, but, I mean, they give up 4 TD passes to Joe Flacco today. I mean, if it's more of the same next week, I mean, I think you've got a really potential for a really rough season.
We'll get into that, but let's talk about making a quarterback change. Because it's week number 3 and it's a short week, I don't expect that to happen. Most coaches will not do that. But at some point it will happen if this continues.
Right.
And the question is, could it happen in game if they fall behind on Thursday? Or do they wait until the next week if this continues to happen?
I can see a situation. I mean, look what we saw in the NFL today. We saw, a bunch of comebacks, right? I mean, I think Mike is in a position where if it's 20-0 in the third quarter, yeah, I certainly can see him making a change. But I don't think, again, with everybody in the division lost today too, so it's not like they're out of it after one loss. So I think that they will stick with Mitch. More likely, if he struggles, you got that break, then you got the Jets, and maybe that's more likely. That would make more sense to make a change. That would not be an emotional decision.
If I'm putting in Kenny Pickett, I better be changing that scheme too, because Kenny Pickett is not going to succeed in this offense whatsoever.
Are they more likely to be just as cautious with him?
Yes,
though?
absolutely. Even if not, even they aren't cautious with him, I don't think that's not the scheme that he needs to be in. I don't think they rip up everything they've done over the past couple months just to be able to say, okay, we're done with this after 3 weeks. Let's put plan B in, because plan B is plan A when it comes to scheme here. Unless you're doing the total overhaul here, I don't think Kenny Pickett does much better at all. So why not keep him the same then?
Yeah, I think what you have to consider is Mitch Trubisky the problem with this offense, or is it a layered issue? I think it's a layered issue. There's all kinds of problems with the offense. It's not if you looked at the offense and said, wow, if we had a different quarterback, they would be so much better. I don't know if that's the case.
Well,
Go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say the offensive line still a work in progress. There are multiple layers, except he's the veteran. He's supposed to be a captain of this team. You would expect better in 2 weeks.
It's
They've
like
had
changing
two
the
offensive
goalie.
touchdowns.
It's the easy move to make, right?
But 2 offensive touchdowns. I'm not saying it's all him. I'm saying they have to. Mike Tomlin has to look at his entire thing with play calling. Give him something that he can
You want to talk about
utilize.
dusting something off. When did they move the ball? What was the one drive that? And I turned to Jim Wexell and I said they need to go tempo here if they get a first down.
Thank you.
And last year was like, oh, look at Ben. Ben went to tempo, and now the offense is fixed.
Why don't they do it early in game?
I don't know.
They might do it this week, because historically, when they have that short week, they go to a lot of that tempo stuff because they don't have to prepare as much. It's basically out there calling. So if there's any week to do that, this would be the week.
Part of the problem was they also went 3 and out those last 2 drives, so there was no opportunity to do that.
Yeah,
so
but again,
that was part of the problem.
reversed back into the cautious mode, didn't they? They got to 17-14, still had a whole fourth quarter, 2 more possessions, and they got nothing. And then I had a feeling at the end they weren't going to get the ball back, just the way things had
If they
gone.
get the ball back and score, Pump, they're 2-0 right now, and this might be a different conversation, right?
Yeah.
But did you ever really feel that they were in it? Once they got to 17-6, it felt like it was over.
They more feel like an 0-2 team than a 2-0 team.
Right, and I don't think we glossed over a lot of their issues, but a win makes you feel better about some of their issues that just popped their head
They
up
also
again
could
for
be
a second
0-2. That was a fluke
But
last week.
let's remember what happened last year too. They had a fluky win in Buffalo with some stuff that was not replicable happen. They win that game. Oh, look at the Steelers, and then they come home and they get drummed. Was it the Bengals the first game or the Raiders the first game? It doesn't matter. It was the same game, right. two weeks in a row. Kind of the same thing here. A bunch of weird stuff happened. They get a kind of a lucky win on the road to start the season. Expectations raised, and now you see what they actually are.
We have to go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the defense. Because last week it was 7 sacks, this week 0 sacks without TJ Watt. Is it just Watt? Or what else happened today that prevented them from getting to Mac Jones? We'll talk about it next as we continue right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.
#1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better.